Hey, this is Kenneth, and you are listening to Who Asked Us? Deep thoughts, lighthearted conversations. Join us as we discuss our way through the Bible with a growing, rotating panel of guests, none of which claim to be experts on any of this. We hope you get just as much out of these conversations as we did having them. Thanks for listening. Cool. So today we're doing what episode now?
What are we doing today? That's a great question.
Is it actual 25 or is it 24? What
the hell did we do yesterday? It is the next chapter from yesterday. Okay. So let's see. It is whatever's in the thing. Genesis 27, what we read yesterday. I hope it was 25.
It
was 25.
Genesis
so now 27. We're in 26. No, 27. No, so do we read 26? Now there's a famine in land. God. No, yeah, we read 26 yesterday.
Who's running the podcast?
Woo! I don't know. It's definitely at least one of us, if not both.
God. All right, let's do it.
That's the thing. At the end of the day, you could be like, yo, Franklin, you're supposed to keep track. And my response is going to be, well, what the hell are you?
I know, right? What's my job again? I'm just here.
You're the money. I'm the looks. I'm the personality. You're the antagonist, and I'm the protagonist. I'm pretty sure. All right, we're diving right in. No banter today. We've bantered enough.
I know.
Who wants to read first? You want to go first?
When Isaac was old and his eyes were dim so that he could not see, he called Esau, his older son, and said to him, "My son." And he answered, "Here I am." He said, "Behold, I am old. I do not know the day of my death. Now then, take your weapons, your quiver, and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt game for me, and prepare for me delicious food, such as I love, and bring it to me so that I may eat, that my soul may bless you before I die." Now Rebekah was listening when Isaac spoke to his son Esau. So when Esau went to the field to hunt for game and bring it, Rebekah said to her son Jacob, "I heard your father speak to your brother Esau. Bring me game and prepare for me delicious food, that I may eat it and bless you before the Lord before I die. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice as I command you. Go to the flock and bring me 2 good young goats, so that I may prepare for them delicious food for your father, such as he loves. And you shall bring it to your father to eat, so that he may bless you before he dies." But Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, "Behold, my brother Esau is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. Perhaps my father will feel me, and I shall seem to be mocking him, and bring a curse upon myself and not a blessing." His mother said to him, "Let your curse be on me, my son. Only obey my voice, and go, bring them to me."
Wow. Okay, let's go in order.
Crazy.
Let's go in order.
All right.
First off, I don't know. This is not like a point. I don't think this is really a theological conversation. But man, the writing.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac was old and his eyes were dim and he couldn't see. Like I was like, no, like I get that. You see that in a dog. You see that. I don't know if you see that in people. I haven't met any blind people in like alive and in the flesh. But it just makes me so sad. He's like, it's just the reality that this man is like, I know I'm dying and I'm preparing for it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And he can barely see. He calls out to Esau and he says, "Here I am," And he's like, it's kind of sad. Yeah, Isaac's like, "Listen, I'm old and I don't know the day of my death," which means he's feeling weak and tired.
Yeah, he knows it's coming, but he doesn't know when. So he's saying, "Let's get on top of this." Mm-hmm. And it's just, I don't know, it's just interesting. It's like in a literary sense, it really like evoked something from me. But crazy how Rebekah, which didn't we have all this stuff about how Isaac loved Rebekah and Rebekah loved Isaac and all this stuff. And now don't get me wrong, I'm glad she loves her son, but she loves one son enough that it should deter the other son, derail him.
She really doesn't like Esau and she really loves Jacob. And I think that is a huge source of problems.
Oh, 100%. Well, I didn't think she didn't like Esau. It's one thing to go, oh, she loves this one. Like this was kind of her favorite and this was kind of his favorite. But to dislike the other so much and for her to even go, hey, husband Isaac, I know he wants this for, and he's the leader of our house and etc. But I'm going to derail him.
She doesn't like the hairy, manly son. She likes the smooth, tent-dwelling son who stays with, basically she likes the mama's boy.
No, it's fine. I get, but like, just go that little bit further and think of how she's also deceiving Isaac.
Yeah, which is wild.
Her husband, yeah.
Absolutely wild. Not deceiving him, and then to a point where it's dangerous, right? Like, and Jacob is even like, listen, like, I could do this, but me and Esau are very, very different. I know my dad can barely see, but what if he touches me? Like, I'm not hairy like Esau is. Like, what if he comes in for a hug? Like, I love you, son. And then he realizes, like, hey, you're not Esau. Like,
and if you think about it too, because you're exactly right. And Jacob is already been showing that he himself is a deceiver, right? Or not a deceiver. He didn't really deceive Esau. He was pretty straightforward about it. But he's obviously not afraid of being shady in that way. He's not afraid of coming off in that taking advantage of people, I should say.
And at this point too, Jacob is actually afraid of the consequences. He's like, listen, I'm gonna get caught, and he's gonna curse me instead of blessing me.
Which, think about it for a second. Think of Jacob previously, right? Jacob took advantage of Esau, and there's no risk.
No risk, yeah.
So think of all the things that Jacob did not work towards in life. Like that hard work. In general, hard work comes at a risk.
Yeah.
Right? A risk of hurting yourself, a risk of losing something. I mean, I know, like, for those of you who don't know, Kenneth over here is quite the businessman. And all the time he talks about, well, who's the one taking the risk here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we notice that Jacob not only is deceiving, but he's not even brave enough to be deceiving when something's at risk.
Yeah, that's the thing. And on top of that, Rebekah's seriousness, I think, is something to be explored, and the Bible doesn't seem to have explored it now, but she's like really into it to the point where she says, let your curse be on me. Yeah. Only obey my voice. So it's like she doesn't even care about the curse that could happen. She's like, listen, if you get in trouble, I'll take all of it for you, but I really just want you to get this blessing. I don't want Esau to get this blessing.
And again, that's when Jacob agrees.
Yeah.
Jacob goes, all right, no risk to me. Fine, I'll go for it.
Exactly. Once he realizes that.
Yeah, like it really is a lot to say about him as a person. Wow. All right, let me keep going. Let me keep reading. What did you leave off at? 14 was the next one?
14.
So he went and took them and brought them to his mother, and his mother prepared savory foods such as his father loved. Then Rebekah took the best garments of Esau, her older son, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob, her younger son, and the skins of the kids she put upon his hands and upon the smooth part of his neck. And she gave the savory food and the bread, which she had prepared, into the hand of her son Jacob. Yeah, so already we're seeing how even there she's being so deceptive. She wants to make sure that this trick happens. Like the lengths that she's going to, she's covering him in the fur of the kid goats that she had just slain in order to make this meal. Like it's not only just like, okay, you go bring him in food and maybe he'll think that you're your brother. She is going, we're going to make sure he thinks this. This is now a scheme, Wow. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
So he went into his father and he said, my father? And he said, here I am. Who are you, my son? Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Now sit up and eat of my game, that you may bless me. But Isaac said to his son, how is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? He answered, because the Lord your God granted me success.
Oh my God.
Wow. Then Isaac said to Jacob, come near, that I may feel you, my son, to know whether you are really my son Esau or not. So Jacob went near to Isaac his father, who felt him and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he did not recognize him, because his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. He said, are you really my son Esau? And he answered, I am. Then he said, bring it to me, that I may eat of my son's game and bless you. So he brought it to him, and he ate, and he brought him wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, come near and kiss me, my son. So he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his garments, and blessed him and said, and maybe we'll hold off on that blessing for a moment.
Yeah. Oh, wow. This is bad.
This is really bad.
Like
I did not expect any of this.
I haven't read this in a long time, and I'm just like, wow. The amount of grievances that happen over and over again.
Yeah,
are terrible.
The turning around saying, because the Lord your God, and Lord is all caps for our listeners, right? The Lord your God granted me success. That is just a blatant lie about the Most High God using the name.
He didn't say the Lord my God. He said the Lord your God, which is the deception and the use of God religion basically just to deceive, to get what you want.
Yes,
is wild.
Yes.
And then poor Isaac, who's like, what's happening? It's like, I don't know. He sounds like Jacob.
He's trying. He's trying to suss it out.
His first thing is like, who are you? His first thing was, who are you? Oh, poor Isaac.
But I do want to throw something out there. Those must have been some pretty good gloves.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
He touched his hands, and like, if I was wearing a glove, either Esau is wildly furry, right? Or these gloves are so well made that even the seams on the gloves are like hidden.
Well, I'm pretty sure he just has like little patches on like the back of his hand.
That makes way more sense, actually.
you know, like it doesn't have to be perfect too. It just needs to be hairy enough. I mean, like, yeah, I think it just needs to be hairy enough where it's like it gives a pulse, because like at the end of the day, Isaac is definitely not expecting this level of deception. I really don't think he is. I don't think he's thinking that someone's coming in with goat skin tied to their body to pretend to be somebody else. Like that. No,
I think you're right. I think he's turning around. Like when he heard the voice, he went, "Hold on, think of like if your wife comes in, you don't see her. She comes in the front door and she goes, "Oh, Kenny spaghetti, my sweet, I'm home." And let's say, I don't know, that's what she calls you, right? And then but like, let's say she's like developing a cold, right? So her voice is just a little bit different. You'd be like, "Hello?" You know what I mean? Like, who is that? And it might take you a second to realize it's her. So fine. He asks and he goes, "Is that you? Like, maybe I'm going crazy. I know I'm literally dying. Let me come here, son." And he double checks and he goes, "Okay, good enough for me. I'm not expecting this lie." Yeah. But yeah, and then the fact that he just continues and it's kind of like he's totally taking advantage of the trust that his father has in God. And I think, what pops into my head, somebody who's would be really critical of the Bible, not critically diving into their faith, but like being critical and going, well, where was God? Why didn't God tell Isaac? He's spoken to Isaac before. My response is, knowing what happens going forward, I think you mentioned it once, and I won't spoil it right now, but God is going to intervene in a different way. What he needs to be done will be done. He's only going to intervene if it's necessary for his will to be done.
Exactly. And people forget like the amount of overlooking that God does. Yep. For all the crazy nonsense things we do. I mean, if he didn't overlook it, we wouldn't exist. So I keep that in mind, right? Like
overlooking, you mean like the wrongs that we do? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
He does it all the time.
I didn't even mean it like that, though. Yeah. I was more saying like, why wouldn't God, fix this so that the blessing goes where it's supposed to go?
Oh yeah,
and God will make sure things go where they're supposed to.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like, I mean, God can make anything happen. Like maybe this happens, and later on, God could make some other event happens, and then Isaac may trade back his birthright. Like anything could happen in life.
Anything could happen.
Yeah. So
and if you think about it, it's there's two more things that pop into my head. The first one being his mission right now is not to protect. His mission right now is not to protect Isaac. His plan needs to go forward, right? So if Isaac's son is going to wrong Isaac, that's allowed to happen, right? That's not what he's specifically going to try to stop. He will pivot the story as necessary, right? And where necessary. But it also kind of makes me think, it's funny when what I was taking when you said that God overlooks so much. I thought you meant literally like overlooks as in is generally looking at so much, kind of like you mentioned from the book of Job. And it made me realize we're like, what, approximately halfway through Genesis? I don't know how many chapters, but
about half, Genesis, like 50.
Yeah, right? So we're about halfway through Genesis, and like that's where I am in my understanding of God, just trying to comprehend how much he comprehends. And I guess that's kind of the main purpose of Genesis, like not just where we come from and such, but it's trying to understand, you mentioned this once, who is this God? Who is the number one creator God, the one who deserves all of our worship? Who is this guy that we're trying to understand and worship? And well, that's why through this tale, as we've been going, I'm discovering him more and more. When he chooses to act, when he doesn't, what he understands, what his goal is,
Yeah, and the amount of hands-offness I would think is surprising because, like if it was up to me, like I would be hands-on in everything. But then I realized if I'm hands-on everything, then no one gets to exist. And I think for God just to see what people do, even like, when God and the two angels or whatever comes to Abraham and they're going to go down to Sodom and Gomorrah just to see, right, if it's as bad as what the reports are, right?
Sure.
And it's like, just seeing what people do and just seeing their actual life and letting them live out their actual selves, right, is part of who God is,
Yeah. Well, and that's, you said hands-on or hands-off, but is it really hands-off? Because I've heard somebody talk about, maybe even here, permissive and perfect will, right? So I think if he's allowing it, he is hands-on in that way. He's considering everything. Nothing is happening that he is not allowing to happen, right? He does have his hands on, but he's never going to take this. It's hard to understand sometimes. He's never going to take control in that it blocks us from choosing what our next step is, but he always has control in that you have the choice to choose in your specific life what you do, but you will not offset the course of his perfect will.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can't stop what he says. Because he can always course correct anything. He can even intentionally try to do wrong things, and he can just be like, okay. And just, like everyone's playing chess and he's playing checkers. Or
the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, maybe it's true. Maybe for him it's just as easy. Like you are actually playing chess and you're doing all these moves.
I see. Yeah.
And he's jumping over your pieces and taking them. I think that's kind of what it is. I don't know.
That's totally fair. Wow. It's just pretty cool. I'm just realizing how much I'm learning and getting to know this God in this book, where that really is that's the main thing that we're doing here. That's really fun. Shall we go into his blessing?
Yeah, let me continue. I'll just reread 27 and keep going. So he came near and kissed him, and Isaac smelled the smell of his garments and blessed him, saying, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field that the Lord has blessed. May God give you of the dew of heaven and of the fatness of the earth and the plenty of grain and wine. Let peoples serve you and nations bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be everyone who blesses you. As soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, when Jacob had scarcely gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, Esau his brother came in from his hunting. He also prepared delicious food and brought it to his father. And he said to his father, "Let my father arise and eat of his son's game, that you may bless me." His father Isaac said to him, "Who are you?" He answered, "I am your son, your firstborn, Esau." Then Isaac trembled very violently and said, "Who was it then that hunted game and brought it to me? And I ate it all before you came, and I have blessed him. Yes, and he shall be blessed." As soon as Esau heard the words of his father, he cried out with an exceedingly great and bitter cry and said to his father, "Bless me, even me also, O my father." But he said, "Your brother came deceitfully, and he has taken away your blessing." Esau said, "Is he not rightly named Jacob? For he has cheated me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he has taken away my blessing." Then he said, "Have you not reserved a blessing for me?" Isaac answered and said to Esau, "Behold, I have made him lord over you, and all his brothers I have given to him for servants, and with grain and wine I have sustained him. What then can I do for you, my son?" Esau said to his father, "Have you but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father." And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
Wow. Should we stop there before we go into the... Yeah, that was... So it's funny how again, on a literary standpoint, Esau says all the same things that Jacob said.
Yeah.
But when Jacob said it, I read it with such like snake oil salesman.
Yeah.
Like that was how it was in my head. But here it feels so much more genuine. It's so interesting. You know? And how quickly right after that he came by, it is the idea of a blessing from not God specifically is so foreign to me.
Yeah.
Right?
I get that. I think, and that's why for me, I'd like taking it to a point of just thinking it as like an authoritative thing rather than a financial thing. So the birthright is financial, but the blessing, like even the way Isaac says it, he says, well, in 37, he says, look, I made him Lord over you, and all of his brothers I've given to him for servant. Like that was Isaac's blessing. It was like, you will be Lord over all your brothers and this and that. And, you know, I think that's kind of, if you think of blessing in that sense of just him giving you something that's not necessarily financial, but is authoritative and spiritual in that sense.
But there's some other stuff too. Like, why don't we go back to verse 27, 28, 29 and like go through the blessing a little bit more, which starts, by the way, by saying, oh, Esau, you smell like a goat.
The smell of the field that the Lord has blessed. After smelling the garment that Rebekah took from Esau's, clothing, like Esau's closet, I guess.
No, I don't think it was. Was it his? Yeah. I thought
because Isaac smelled his garments, right?
Oh,
but those were the same garments that Rebekah had taken from Esau's clothing.
I thought he was wearing a cloak of the skins of the goats. No,
no, because back in where is it? In 15, then Rebekah took the best garments of Esau, her oldest son, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob, her younger son. Yeah. So he probably has some nice, teak wood, cedar wood cologne on that. I don't know.
Dr. Squatch.
Exactly. Dr. Squatch is on him.
That would be a great Dr. Squatch commercial. They'll never do it. They won't do it.
They wouldn't do it. They're too weak. But
right at 28, right? May God already. I'm already curious. What is Isaac giving him here in this blessing, and what does it mean? May God give you of the dew of heaven, whatever that means, and of the fatness of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine. So Isaac is asking God to do something. Yeah,
he's basically Isaac is asking God to bless this son, to give him prosperity that is not really worked for to be earned necessarily, but prosperity, right? A level of it's the same sort of prosperity that Isaac got. Maybe it is worked for, but Isaac had planted his field and got back 100-fold.
Well, exactly. Yeah. No matter how hard you work the field, is it a good place to be worked, right? Exactly. So that's what fatness of the earth would mean. I guess dew of the heaven, would that be kind of linked to that? Is that like just rains for the crops? And nutrients in the earth.
Yeah, especially in especially in the desert. It's also it's maybe not like a physical thing. It's just more of a.
It might be. Think of that whole sentence, right? The dew of heaven, rain, fatness of the earth, the nutritious soil, and that will result in plenty of grain and wine, and then grapes to turn into wine, right?
It could be. Yeah.
So maybe that first one literally is, may your house be have
It's like financial, or not even necessarily financial success, but just success that can lead to financial success, if that
I mean, think of everywhere else that had these things, right? If you're thinking about like rich soil and water, like the Nile, Mesopotamia, etc.,
which is arguably could even be better than just getting a inheritance or a birthright. Like you get your inheritance, you just get a bunch of money. But if you're like, hey, whatever you work at, you're gonna be blessed. It's gonna be well with you. Like,
that's pretty huge.
That's awesome.
And then it continues: let people serve you, and nations bow down to you. That's it's an asking of God for these things, right? That's not anything that Isaac can specifically give, but he's asking God to bless him here, which I just think is important, right?
Yeah.
Now here, this is given, I feel like, by Isaac. Be Lord over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you, right? The children of my concubines, right? It's these other kids that aren't the ones who are inheriting things. You're in charge of them. I'm putting you in charge here.
That's the authoritative piece about it, and that's and then the kind of leadership and respect. Really, the respect is the next thing. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be everyone who blesses you. That's also given now to Jacob rather than Esau.
Now, what's interesting, and it's more just something to think about. I don't know if we have an answer. So because the first half of this, he's going, "Hey God, can you give this to my son? Right, my son right here." He doesn't say in this that, "Hey, give to my son Esau," while he's talking to Jacob. He doesn't even say, "Give this to my firstborn son."
Yeah.
Right? He's just saying, "Give
To
this to my
you.
son right here."
Yeah,
And
he says, this the smell of my son. May God give you and give you and give you.
And that's why I'm almost curious, like, can't Isaac go, "Hey, God, that was not who I intended this for. Please give this to this son."
And I don't think, especially with the level of reverence and permanence they take and the seriousness they take with words and stuff like that, this is not something that can be frivolously given or frivolously taken. Same thing with birthrights and stuff. That's kind of the reason why I think in the last chapter, or was it 2 chapters ago, I guess, when Esau sells his birthright for the stew, Esau is coming at it from a mundane point of view, from a secular point of view. Like, I'm hungry, I'm gonna die, I want the food, I don't care.
Oh, I see. That's what you're referring to with the despise his birthright stuff.
Exactly. Whereas for them, these things have more spiritual and more weight to it, right? Way more weight to it. And that's why even now it's not like, oh, I said that to Jacob, I'll take it back, I'll give it to you instead. Like, that's not a thing that could even be done, right?
Well, I wonder. Yeah, well, I wonder then, if you think about it, if God would have allowed it to be transferred, because honestly, Isaac didn't mean to put it somewhere, but I wonder if it's just, but that's not the cultural norm. You know what I mean? Like, no, I made this mistake. I already put it here.
Yeah.
It has been placed. I'm just curious.
And I think also culturally, I think especially when you don't have written, like most people can't read and write, right? Mm-hmm. So your word is your bond.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't write like, well, it wasn't written. Like nowadays in our culture, it's kind of flipped. Well, I don't even say flipped because they didn't really have this option because most people couldn't read and write, right?
Yeah.
But in our culture, you can say whatever you want. But if it's written down on the paper, it's written down on the paper. You can't go and like cross it out. You're going to have to cross it out, then get it signed by both all parties and everything like that. For even the person, like if you sign away your deed to someone and I thought you were somebody else or something, a case can probably be made for that in this case of justice. But let's say it was like, oh, you changed your mind.
Yes.
Then you and the party who you originally intended to give it to and the new party would all have to come into a new covenant agreement. Now, let's say that was similar here. I don't see how Jacob is going to willingly say, okay, you can have it back. I'll go the other blessing instead. Like, that's not going to happen. So, yeah, in that culture, I would say their word is their bond and those contracts are legally binding.
That makes a lot more sense, relating it to how just the different perspective that we have now. Their word is as binding as written word is as binding to us.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I think that. One other thing I wanted to bring out.
Yeah.
Jacob's name. This is the first time we really brought the text kind of highlights Jacob's name. So Esau's name, they highlight over and over again. Red. He's red.
Yes, there is
hairy,
something. I'm going to go see if I can find it back in, what was it, 25? There was a little tag on it, I remember. Yeah, Jacob. Let me click it. Let's see what it says. So what Jacob means is he takes by the heel or he supplants.
Yes.
Which I do not know what supplants means.
Well, mine says, it would say, well, at least here in verse 36 in chapter 27, the little note says, that's when Esau says, is he not rightly named Jacob? For he has cheated me these 2 times. My thing says he takes by the heel or he cheats, right? Which I guess are kind of the same sort of thing. Like Jacob was only really born because he was holding on to Esau while Esau was coming out.
Is that what supplants means? Supplants sounds like I'm putting myself in the place that you were.
Yeah, well, that's cheating. That's the he cheats thing. Like
but I'm curious if that's literally what supplants means.
I think that's the vibe of the term, right?
It's the vibe. We go by vibe over here.
Yeah, we got to vibe the words because this is a different language from thousands of years ago. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say so even. I guess it's right before that. What were you reading? 37?
36.
Yes, 36. Right before that, going back with the idea of how angry Esau is and how how binding his word is. Look at Isaac's reaction. Oh, he trembles. He is so
violently
angry. And he's like, well, who was that? I ate. I gave him the blessing. It's done.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's another thing, too, because at least, I hope At the very least, it's at least one of his other sons, because it could have been anybody at that point.
Right now, he has no. Yes.
What if it's one of his servants coming to steal a blessing, and now that is absolutely insane.
Well, and that's why. And you see, it's so interesting how this is the first time I feel like the Bible has really been so descriptive about the reactions of people. You know, in the past we've had to go, wait, I wonder what that person felt like, and we can kind of supplant a little bit. But here, right, Esau heard the words of his father, and he cried out with an exceedingly great and bitter cry.
Oh man,
he is so angry, and then your brother came with guile, is what it says for me, which I think you said is like full of deceit or something.
Yeah, my brother came deceitfully.
Yeah, he has taken your blood. Like, this is so
it's emotional, right? This
it really is
intense. And then Esau's only response now is kind of just desperation. Because
it's begging. He's like, I have nothing, Father.
Yeah, he's like, he took my birthright, so I don't have that. Now he's taking my blessing. I don't have anything, right? Like, do you have anything? And Isaac's like, no, I gave your brother literally everything.
Yeah, and if you think about it too, okay, so Esau didn't hold his birthright with the high enough regard. I think it's fair to probably say he was putting a lot of weight on the blessing. Then he was like, that's where the real stuff is. Who cares about all that stuff? Well, and think about it actually for a second. I bet you blessings were similar. Yeah, everyone knew a blessing was kind of be about this. You literally said it before. It's not about the riches. I want the land that is full of fruit. I want the land that is going to provide for us. That's what I want. I want the people
I want the people. Yep.
That is really the well. So
he's I don't need the $1 million. I want the business, right? Like that's the
yeah. Wow. I don't want the $1 million. I want the 1 penny that doubles every day. Which, by the way, everybody, if somebody offers you that, you take the pennies. It always works out.
Oh my God. So I guess you can finish this up, huh?
Sure. So what, were we at 39?
Let me just make sure that. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that was it.
So
you can continue.
Isaac's response as Esau is weeping, Isaac his father answered him, "Behold, away from the fatness of the earth shall your dwelling be, and away from the dew of heaven on high. By your sword shall you live, and you shall serve your brother. But when you break loose, you shall break his yoke from your neck." Should I feel like I want to dissect that a little before we continue.
Yeah, that's fine.
So it's interesting. At first, it makes me think, okay, away from the fatness of the earth, and the this nutritious soil, all the rains that are going to be coming here, you're going to go live by your sword. You're going to continue to hunt, is what it sounds like. That's how you'll survive. But you're still related to this community. You're going to serve your brother. And then I wonder what it means by, but when you break loose, you shall break his yoke from your neck. Yeah,
mine
break
says, from what? But when you grow restless, you shall break his yoke from your neck. But that kind of goes into the point that Isaac was making in verse 37. He says, because, Esau's like, do you have anything reserved for me? And he's like, listen, I already made Isaac Lord over everything. And what then can I even do for you? So Isaac doesn't really have anything else to say. He's like, well, yeah.
Well, and in the past, I feel like there's a time you said, and I know obviously you're rereading, you don't have the Bible memorized, that you said that basically they were going to switch blessings, but it doesn't seem like that. I don't think Isaac was going to give this second blessing to Jacob. I think Isaac is going, and that's kind of a reason why God's not intervening, because Isaac is taking care of it. Yeah. Isaac is going, listen, I can't give you what I gave him, but you will eventually come back to your rightful place. You will take the yoke off his neck. He will not rule over you. Does that make sense?
That's like the best he could even give to Esau. Is like, basically what he's saying is, all the things that I was going to give to your brother, I'm still going to give to your brother because he has that. So your brother's going to have the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven, and you won't, right? So you'll be living away from that. And by your sword you shall live, which means like you can't live based off of the prominence that comes from just grain and wine and economy, right? You have to be fighting for survival.
Yeah. Now,
which is not even a blessing yet. And you shall serve your brother, which is again the previous thing.
A blessing.
So the only thing that's the blessing is the last thing. But when you grow restless, you shall break his yoke from your neck. That's it.
Which I'm curious, and I obviously don't know what happens next, so I'm not asking for a spoiler. But breaking the yoke from his neck, I'm almost maybe this is because this is where I think it should go. It sounds like he will usurp Jacob's position instead of just get out from underneath him. And I'm sure, like in my head, I'm like, oh, eventually Esau will get to his rightful place. But I think I'm adding that because that's what I think should happen. I think that would be more just, where it might just be, hey, you're going to live under your brother until you don't. And one day, that's all I could promise you.
It just sounds so bad.
It sounds bad?
Yeah.
What I'm saying, or what's happening?
Well, the blessing. I'm just going to go back over my mind. Yeah. No. What you said makes sense. I was like,
dang, that's
I meant like
almost explicit. Hey, I disagree with you, Franklin.
No, I meant like it just sounds bad, the situation.
Yeah.
With the yoke. Yeah.
That's why I know you know what happens next. Yeah. I don't know how much you can give away.
It's hard to keep that, but because it's important, because what's good at this point in time. Do you think it's going to be hard because obviously
no, go ahead, ask me questions. That makes more sense.
But like, where is God's promise going to? Is it through both Jacob and Esau still, or is it just through Esau because he's the firstborn? Is it going through Jacob? Did Jacob really steal what God has promised to? Well,
that's a great question, actually, right? So, like, at the end of the day, what did God promise through the lines, right? It's descendants as countless as the stars, right? And it's the great nations will come from him, or a great nation. I don't remember specifically.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think that can't go to Esau the way that things are right now. That might still follow him. He just might redeem himself in a way. So he might struggle, right? Live by the sword. He might struggle his way back up and continue that line of being a great man with the descendants and the etc. Just because he doesn't continue with the goods of this line, I don't think means that the promise was not going to go through Esau. In my head, I almost want it to go through Esau. I think he's the one who should be rightfully taking it, unless something were to change, obviously.
And it's annoying because this is also the second generation where the firstborn doesn't seem to be getting. The firstborn seems to be kind of disregarded. Like Ishmael was the firstborn of Abraham.
Yep.
But he wasn't a child of the promise. So, and he gets mistreated by Sarah and Hagar, but he's also still the child of the promise. Okay. At least that's understandable in all the different layers, right?
Well, and here's the thing, like, this God is never the one who said it's going to be through your firstborn.
Yeah. He never
said that.
Never,
at least not recorded here. I think that's more like, again, they're putting in their cultural norms and such. But at the end of the day, it's really just as long as it happens within your lineage.
Mm-hmm. And there's, man, it's something. I don't know. So we'll see. There is. Well, no. Let me save that. I don't want to go. I'm trying to stay with the text so we can go on.
Well, here, let me continue.
Yeah.
Let's get back into the text so that we don't spoil too much. So, verse 41. Now Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father had blessed him. And Esau said to himself, "The days of mourning for my father are approaching. Then I will kill my brother Jacob." But the words of Esau, her older son, were told to Rebekah. Oh, I see. But the words of Esau, her older son, were told to Rebekah. So she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said to him, "Behold, your brother Esau comforts himself by planning to kill you. Now, therefore, my son, obey my voice, arise, flee to Laban, my brother in Haran, and stay with him a while until your brother's fury turns away. Until your brother's anger turns away and he forgets what you have done to him, then I will send and fetch you from there. Why should I bereft of you both in one day?" Then Rebekah said to Isaac, "I am weary of my life because of the Hittite woman. If Jacob marries one of the Hittite women, such as these, one of the women of the land, what good will my life be to me?" Okay. I'm confused.
I think 46 to the end is a precursor to the next. Honestly, I don't even know why this is in this chapter and not in beginning of chapter 20.
Well, that reminds me. So back in the last two verses of the previous chapter, when Esau was 40 years old, he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beer-eri the Hittite, and Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, and they made life bitter for Isaac and Rebekah. So let me reread the end of this chapter. Then Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the Hittite women. So the two that Esau had married. If Jacob marries one of the Hittite women such as these, one of the women of the land, what good will my life be to me? So I don't understand that last bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically she's just saying she doesn't like her two daughters-in-law, right? Mm-hmm. They're
Esau's wives.
Yeah. Which maybe also part of the reason why she dislikes Jacob more than Esau, right? So that could also be a thing. And there's probably some problems that she had with her daughters-in-law, and then she goes to Esau, and he's like, Esau, tell them this, and he's like, no, and whatever. I don't know. I'm imagining all that happening. Anyway,
is that in the text?
No. I think
it's inferable.
It's because she says she loathes her life, and then because of the Hittite woman, and I'm wondering, the part of the problem I think is Esau is still in the same area. It's like he's not living somewhere else, so they have to be together. It's kind of annoying, I guess. She's annoyed or loathing. I don't know. It doesn't tell you the details of what is wrong with the Hittite woman.
Yeah.
But then she's like, well, if Jacob also marries a Hittite woman like these women, what good will my life? I feel like this is very over exaggerating, but maybe she really doesn't like the Hittite woman, and if she says even more Hittite women, she's gonna kill herself. I don't know. She really is not a fan of these Hittite women.
And I also took what good will my life be as I will be useless, but I wonder if it's more like literally my life will be bad because that's how much I dislike it. You see the difference?
Yeah. That's what I took.
One sounds depressed and the other sounds miserable. Those are different things.
I think it's more miserable.
Me too.
Miserable. And like the Bible said earlier, they made life bitter for both of them, honestly. I guess Isaac doesn't complain as much, but he's not, we'll see what happens.
Probably because he's a guy. Doesn't complain as much, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. He just takes it in stride. He already can't see. He already gave his birthright, his blessing to the son he doesn't really like as much. So he's just like, I'm just waiting to die. I don't care. I don't care about anything. Let me just die.
Let me go.
But Esau hated Jacob.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Of course he did. I'm amazed that Rebekah's like, hey, go away until he forgets. Forgets? Yep. Are you kidding me?
Until his anger, till his fury not even forgets, but he's just not as mad, right? Because time kind of dampens a little bit of the fire, but
heals all wounds. Yeah, that's a big hope over here.
But even the way she says it, he's comforting himself by thinking about killing you once. He's
like, oh, this will be better. But now think back to the blessing. Mm-hmm. But when you break loose, which your text said, when you become restless, he is restless, and he is trying to break free of that yoke for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, either he'll succeed, or I'm curious if this, again, what happens next. I don't. Or if Jacob leaving is going to, he became restless. He threatened to kill him, and that scared Jacob away. And so Jacob left, and now he's not in charge of everybody anymore. He's not here.
That could be a thing. Well, right now, neither of them are in charge. Because this is just a blessing. Yeah. It's not in effect until Isaac dies. Just like the birthright.
Yeah.
So, and Isaac is still, the days of mourning for my father are approaching. Everyone knows Isaac's going to die at some point. It's all just a waiting game at this point.
Yep.
And everyone's kind of afraid. Rebekah's afraid. Jacob, I'm pretty sure, is afraid. I'm pretty sure Jacob is not, he's avoiding. I'd be avoiding Esau too if I did what Jacob did. And now she's having her son go to her brother, so go to Uncle Laban.
No, not. His name's Laban?
Yeah, or Laban. I don't know how you say it.
Oh, I thought it was. Yeah, that's. I guess when it's a name, I don't know. I thought it was a place.
No, yeah, we've met Laban before. Laban was. Remember when? What's his name?
I don't remember Laban.
Yeah, because we were assuming it's Eliezer, Abraham's servant, who goes to find a wife for Isaac back in the day, and he goes all the way and he finds Rebekah.
Oh, yes. But
then then Laban. Then he's talked to Laban to convince Laban. Then he's convinced, which is Rebekah's brother. Then Rebekah's dad. Then Rebekah's mom. Then Rebekah herself. So all that had to happen. All that had to happen. But so now she's saying, "I'll go back to Laban in Haran. Stay with him a while until your brother's fury turns away, until your brother's anger turns away from you, and he forgets what you have done." Which I look, maybe I don't think she means forget. I think she just means it's not as I
think it's let go of it.
Yeah,
he gets over it.
She says, "Why should I be bereft of you both in one day?"
Yeah, so basically, bereft, I just looked up the definition just to be sure. But basically, why am I going to mourn the loss of my husband and the loss of my son?
She does not
so
care
get out of here.
about Jacob. She doesn't care about Esau.
I don't think she doesn't care about Esau, but I think she's. I don't think it's zero care, but it's definitely, hey, you're not going to kill him back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any. There's no fear about losing Esau right now.
Yeah,
she's not going anywhere.
I'm pretty sure if Esau died, she'd be like, "Oh no," and that's basically it.
Poor guy.
Darn! Now these Hittite women have to leave.
Yeah, and the Hittites too. I mean, were those the people of Abimelech? No, those were the Philistines.
No,
they've been mentioned before. I just don't remember.
They were mentioned before. I think that's where Abraham had purchased land to be buried in, the Hittite land.
Yeah, so like I'm curious.
That's basically
what's her problem with the Hittites?
I don't know. Maybe it's a cultural problem. Like maybe
because here's the thing:
their food is too spicy or not spicy enough. I don't know.
But here's the thing: they were all, like nice to Abraham. They were like, "Take the land for free."
Yeah,
and he was like, "No, I need my claim."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Ah, man, we have to stop there.
Yeah, and like I guess as we start wrapping up, it's funny. This is such a action-packed chapter, but as I look to how much time we've been recording, it's not as much as usual, and I think it's because there's so much action that it's less. There's less that we've been talking about what we're learning, and more just dissecting the story. So, like, I don't know. You want to sum up what let's say I read this chapter in isolation, right? What am I learning about God here?
Ooh, that's a good question. And God seems notably absent from this. In God's own actions, just absent. He's not a narrative character.
Yeah,
he's only mentioned. What do I take from God about this? I don't know yet. I don't know.
I could even rephrase that question a little bit. What are we learning? What's to be learned besides literally the events of the story? Mm-hmm. Is there a takeaway from this chapter? And if so, what would it be?
Well, the story's not done yet, so you can't get the moral of the story. You can't get the moral of the story yet. It's like listening about the turtle and the hare, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not the end of the race yet, so it just seems like the turtle's slow and the hare is winning and now has time to rest. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can take anything out of it yet. I think you gotta just see, like, where is this gonna go? Where is this gonna lead? What I do think is that there's certain things to be cautious of. There is things to be cautious of, and things to be on guard with, and also things to realize, like, bad things can happen to you either because, for me, like, I'm looking at Esau, right? Bad things can happen to you for two reasons. Either one, you can lose what is rightfully yours because you gave it up, because you're in a place of vulnerability, right? Mm-hmm. So you got to just be strong and not give up things that are valuable as much as you can. But then two, there are things that can be taken away from you just from actual enemies. Mm-hmm. And your enemy can be your brother and your mother, right? Like,
and your mother, yeah.
And so that's just something to keep in mind.
Well, I think that's a takeaway. Not the moral of the story, but that's definitely a takeaway. I was thinking something similar. At the end of the day, I was looking at it as these people. I know Isaac is the one who has so far directly communicated with God in this part of the family, right? Mm-hmm. But so then you would think Rebekah and Esau and Jacob would all be very aware of God's existence and rule. You know what I mean? Maybe not every expectation, but like he is, someone to be. If they don't have a fear of God, that would be so interesting to me.
Yeah.
But look how evil all of them still are.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. I mean, like Jacob obviously is happy deceiving and lying, right? So is Rebekah, especially against her husband, the head of the household. She has no problem doing that to him based on her wishes. Mm-hmm. And Esau as well. I mean, Esau is, what's it called? I don't know if this justifies murder.
Yeah. No,
I don't think so. So, like, that's, again, he's following his passions there. I almost look at this right now and go, the only one who I feel like could still be counted as any type of righteous at all in a similar way to Abraham would be Isaac. And that's only if Isaac is not, like, being hateful against Jacob. He just wasn't blessing Jacob because, the cultural norm of it goes to the firstborn.
Yeah. I mean, because that's what he would give to your firstborn. Like, nothing that is. And Isaac was also happy. He really actually did like Esau.
Yeah. But that's my point, though, is right now he's the only one who I think is arguable to be a decent human being. He's at least keeping his word of the birthright. I'm sorry, the blessing that he gave to Jacob, right? But everybody else, despite being in a relatively close relationship with God, although not as direct as Isaac, is still totally succumbing to the evils that lie within their heart. It's just another moment where we are reminded of the brokenness of humanity, no matter how close you are to God, you know.
Exactly. So I mean, yeah, I think that is key. I do think Isaac should have done more. One, favoritism is a problem. That's another thing. It really is a huge problem.
So then maybe Isaac isn't as great as we thought.
I don't think so, and for other reasons that are probably going to come in the future chapter. But he should have done more to reconcile the differences between the two of them.
Yeah.
And to not exasperate, which I feel like he just allowed it to really diverge the two of them more and more.
That's a really good point. If your children grow up hating each other in this way, maybe not hating, but there's this animosity between the two, you're their father. It's time to do something.
Exactly. And I'm just like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of wild.
It is very wild. But yeah, so this is an interesting takeaway. And again, all in the absence of God as a character, which is pretty cool. But here's the thing: God is not absent, right? And that, I think that's another takeaway. God is not absent. Just because he's not doing anything that you're noticing right now, there is his permissive will. He's letting this play out. He's
letting this play out, and I am excited for the next. Sometimes I'm like, we should just keep on going, but no, we gotta end it. I'm excited for what happens next because there's more insight to this Jacob and Esau stuff, and I have a contention with Isaac a lot, but we'll get to that in the next episode.
Yeah, I feel like it's just going to take more twists and turns. Already the fact that it was like, oh, I'm already going to kill Jacob, and Jacob's like, I'm out of here and everything. I'm like, oh, so maybe Jacob leaves? And where are we going?
There's a lot of good stuff happening.
It's going to be a lot of twists and turns. I can see why this is a New York Times bestseller. This whole Bible.
Interesting story.